Today, I'm going to explain to you why being in your head is absolutely destroying any chances of success that you have for one big reason, which is ego. And we're going to draw the distinction between ego and success. Because ego is the greatest barrier to success. And I'll explain why. You got the whiteboard out today again, so we're going to have some fun. The thing that stops most people from following their dreams, let's say, from following their heart, from being authentic, is ego. And you know why? Because ego manifests as overthinking. When you're overthinking, that's your ego. Overthinking equals analysis paralysis, which also equals decision making fatigue. Look at that. Decision-making fatigue. Decision-making fatigue. Do you think successful people have decision-making fatigue? Successful people are what? They're decisive. Successful people are decisive. Therefore, when you're overthinking, you will create decision-making fatigue because you can't decide, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I quit my job? Should I pursue a business? Should I pursue this business or that business? Should I marry this girl or that girl? Should I go to this restaurant or that restaurant? It manifests in every single decision you make. That's why how you do one thing is how you do everything. I can tell if somebody's going to be successful in life after a 10-minute conversation with them, I swear to God. I know that sounds crazy, but once you see success, once you understand what I like to call success principles, you will not be able to unsee them. And the greatest barrier to success is always ego. It's always ego, which leads to overthinking, which leads to a lack of decision making, which leads to an abundance of poor decisions as well. By the way, a poor decision is better than no decision. I know that might sound controversial, but it is far better for you to train your decision making muscle rather than stay in limbo, imagining that you're comfortable, delusional. That comfort is a delusion. You're not actually comfortable. Even if you feel comfortable because you're not taking risks, you're going to feel the discomfort in years to come. I promise you that. So, ego equals overthinking, equals a lack of decisions or bad decisions. If you block yourself, and it's a block, what you're blocking is flow. If you block yourself, you prevent yourself from allowing thoughts and actions to flow, all you're doing is self-sabotaging. Does that sound familiar? You end up self-sabotaging. Where you want to be instead, you guys can read this. What you want to allow to happen instead is flow. Flow. Flow in your actions, emotions, decisions, and eventually, that's decisions, you guys can see that, and eventually thoughts. All right. Now, how do you get to a state where you're in flow and your actions are in flow, your emotions are flowing, your decisions are easy and confident, and your thoughts as well? This happens by you eliminating overthinking, by you recognizing, that's an I, recognizing the ego. Awareness, that's awareness. We talk about awareness a lot in the program because when you have awareness, you can recognize the ego, you can recognize overthinking, right? Awareness leads to recognition, which leads to surrender. It's a step-by-step process. The way we do it in Diamond Eye, our program, which if you're interested in, you can check the link in the description. There's a video explaining what we do if you want to work with us. So the step-by-step flow, let's call it flow steps, includes number 1, awareness. Number 2, acceptance. I'll break these down. And number 3, responsibility. All right. So, in order to stop self-sabotaging, in order to stop overthinking and going into analysis paralysis and decision-making fatigue, first you need to be aware. Aware of what? Aware of your ego. You become aware of your ego. How do you do that? You practice mindfulness. You practice meditation. You practice self-awareness. Catch yourself whenever you realize you're victimizing. Catch yourself whenever you realize that you're justifying. Justification and victimization, habits of a loser. So you're aware of it. Next, you accept your situation. This doesn't mean you don't change your situation. You accept, okay, this is where I'm at, therefore I need to change this. But you also accept not only your situation, but also your emotions. You accept your emotions. You guys can, there you go. Situation and emotions. You accept your situation. All right, I'm in a pretty shitty situation right now. And you accept your emotions. I feel frustrated about this. And that's very normal. That's what I'm meant to feel right now. You know what happens when you accept your emotions in your situation? Flow. You start to feel flow. You know why? Because when you resist, when you accept, that means there's non-resistance. Excuse my handwriting. There's non-resistance. When there's resistance, there's tension. When there's flow, there's no resistance. Imagine the water flowing down a river. There's no resistance. Unless there's a dam, then there's going to be resistance. There's no dam. It's just, there's no overthinking. There's just acceptance. Allowing it to be. That creates flow. This allows you to transmute it, by the way. We'll make another video on this, actually. Transmuting your emotional state. I will keep that in mind. So that's acceptance. And then you have self-responsibility. Self-responsibility means taking conscious action. Taking conscious action. That means taking necessary steps. For example, if you suck at communication, you lack an executive presence, working with somebody like us. Or if it means you're overweight or you're very unfit, hiring a personal trainer. If it means you find that you're not as knowledgeable as you could be or articulate, it means going to the bookstore and buying 5 books that you're going to read. Taking conscious action. It could also mean starting meditation to overcome overthinking. You want to be successful. Take success seriously. Start studying success principles. Look into success principles. A little bit different to my normal communication content. Let me know if you like this. This is something that I'm personally very interested in. I thought, you know what the hell? Let me share it on YouTube, see if you guys like it. Let me know if you guys like this, and I'll take a photo of it as well. You can DM me on Instagram if you want me to send it to you. And if you're new here, like, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys next week.